And the time is 7 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson, could you do the invocation, please?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Father God, we just give you glory and honor. We thank you for another opportunity to just thank you and to be grateful to you for keeping us. And we thank you, Lord Jesus, for your saving grace and that for your mercies that are new every morning. And Father God, we ask that you will be in our midst, Father God, as we meet on tonight, that you will give us direction and wise counsel, and that you will grace us with your wisdom. Bless the citizens of Glenarden, the staff, and all who's affiliated with us, the city. Father God, we ask in Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson. Now we'll do the roll call. Councilwoman Cross. Councilwoman Cross. Okay. Councilman Hairston.
Here.
Councilman Herring.
Here.
Councilwoman Jones.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson.
Here.
And Mayor Curtis is here. We have a quorum. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So move.
So move. Moved by Councilman Herring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson. Any discussion? I know Mr. Green sent us an email about got the topic. Mr. Green, what's the topic?
Good evening, everyone. Non-compliant businesses.
Non-compliant. All right. I would like to add that to the topic of discussion. Any other discussion? Any opposition to adopting the amended agenda? No opposition. By unanimous consent, the agenda is hereby approved. I'll just note that Councilman Cross, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
That Councilman Cross is in attendance. All right. We'll move on to the first item on the agenda, which is a resolution to approve the appointment of Brian Woods as city manager. Are there any comments or questions from council related to this legislation? Councilman Harry?
Yeah, I just wanted to change the sponsor to city council, not my name.
City council. Oh yeah, I did see that. So do you want to also erase the co-sponsor at the request of administration and just leave it as council? As
Yeah, you can take that off. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we can make that adjustment. Anything else, Councilman Herring?
No, that's it.
Any comments from council members on this legislation?
This
Councilman Williams?
I really don't have any comment per se on this particular legislation, but it's related to it. And this is for future, and we're talking about the assistant city manager position. I am not for not refilling that position at some point this fiscal year or next fiscal year. And I just want to put that on the record.
Thank you. Any other discussion or comments? Okay. We'll move on. Any comments on city reports? I don't recall us getting city reports. But I know the administration's been busy, so we'll hold off on that. So, yep, let's go ahead, Councilman Harris.
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions for on a couple of things with the reports or with the department head. I guess one of them is I want to know, where are we at with the thermostat down in the nutrition center? I was down there today and it was 60 degrees. And so I'm trying to figure out, where are we at with the heat down there? The excuse I got from someone I was talking to down there didn't make any sense to me. So I'm just trying to figure out, where are we at? This has been going on for over a week now, and I want to know where we at with getting our heat back on.
Good question. Mr. Nichols, I see you unmuted yourself. Go ahead and.
Yep, so I can answer that. Good evening, everybody. So the unit is running. If you actually go into that space, you can physically hear it running. It also is controlled by the thermostat. And so you can go in and manually turn on and off the thermostat, and you can see the thermostat speaking to the unit. What we're dealing with, just from my experience, is we have been in a space where there has been consistent freezing and low temperatures. And given the fact that it is an extremely old building, in addition to having old windows, lack of weather sealing around doors, so on and so forth, the unit just it simply can't keep up right now with heating that space sufficiently. As far as the status of getting like a service call done, that is something that I'm working on now. But as you all are aware, my primary focus has been this winter weather event, and we've been boots on the ground, my entire team, including myself, every single day, knocking that out. So that's something that I'm focusing on now, is contacting a contractor so that we can have a service call placed. I do believe that when we do that and when we pay for that, that will end up being the end result in what I just explained of what's going on. We just, need to entertain potentially a new unit or servicing the unit, where like one simple thing could be getting new insulation placed on the unit. It's just old, so there's a lot of heat loss throughout.
Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
that makes absolutely no sense. I've been in that building for 20 years and we've never run into this problem. And we've had weeks where we had cold down and the cold outside, and that room has always been really too hot. So I don't know what you're looking at or what you're talking about, would it be in an old building or anything like that, but that makes absolutely no sense. We've never run into this issue with that. I've turned the heat up. It's on 70, it's on 75 in one room, it's on 73 in the other room, and it won't go past 60 degrees in that room. And that makes no sense whatsoever. And I know for a fact that cannot nowhere possibly be true, because it's an old building. Because I've been in that building now for 20 years, and we get people that's been in there for 30 and 40 years, and that room has never been that cold before, and the heat has never went out of whack because we've had consistent cold. That makes no sense. All right. That's all I wanted to say. I've never seen it. I mean, you don't normally be turning the heat down in there because it's so warm. So that makes no sense. I don't know where that's coming from. And I think we need to get somebody out here who knows exactly what's going on, call an HVAC person or somebody. And whether you got boots on the ground, is more than two people in the public works department. You got a field supervisor, and you got you. And then you got to stop. You can't take time to call a technician or call somebody to come out and look at this. Those seniors are down there playing cards in the cold. It makes no sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Cross?
Yes, thank you. My question was to the city manager. Had the city manager been made aware of the freezing temperatures down there as well? We do have a few contractors that we've used for our HVAC purposes. And I think Councilman Herring hit it perfectly, how we reached out to have someone at least come and service the system. I know if you're not in there consistently, you're not made aware, but now we've been put on notice. What's the get well plan? Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Jones?
Thank you, Mayor Curtis. Can we just get a call contractor to come out and look at the unit and do an analysis of what's going on with it, and then determine what we need to do from there. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Okay. Any more comments on that topic before we go on? All right. So we'll start with Mr. Green's topic first, so I don't forget the non-compliance business licenses. Mr. Green, do you want to explain?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Again, good evening. Let me pull this up. All right. Back in April of 2025, and again on October 31st of 2025, notices were mailed to businesses within the city, notifying them that it was time for them to notifying them that it was time to renew their business licenses. Of the businesses operating within the city, 11 businesses have not complied. I have personally made visits to each business. I've had comprehensive discussions. Duplicate documentation was transmitted electronically, and appropriate follow-up actions was undertaken. And so we're at a stage now where I wanted to notify the council of this particular situation with these businesses and get guidance from the council as it relates to the next step. The next step could be the closing of these 11 businesses for failing to obtain a current business license within the city of Glenarden. Thank you. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Councilwoman Cross?
Much. Mr. Green, have you sent us a copy or list of those 11? And then relative to the 11, if you issue a warning, please make sure to send the dates of that. And then also give us a risk analysis. If you are required by law and they have not paid to issue those businesses to be held accountable, what does that look like? We need a risk analysis on what that does to our economy, what businesses would be closing if they were not able to catch up on their payments to help us make more informed decisions. Thank you.
Mr. Green?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Curtis. Thank you for that guidance, Councilwoman Cross. Just to add a little more clarity to this particular situation, most of the businesses have paid. Of the 11, I believe 9 of those have paid. The reason of the non-compliance is not due to the payment, it's due to the additional documents that's required to go with the payment and with the City of Glenarden business license. So, and yes, last week, I think it may have been on Saturday, I sent an email to all council members with each one of the businesses, their address, what the issue with their compliance is. So if the council does not have that, I will resend that as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Williams?
Good evening, Mr. Green. My question is, did the businesses of the 9 businesses, did they satisfy the county to get for their licenses?
Well, the county license, what they're required to have is your state of Maryland license, which expires on a yearly basis. You're required to have your certificate of occupancy, which once you get that, it doesn't expire unless there is a name change or a different change in the use of
Right.
occupancy of the business. So if you're referring to the state of Maryland license, most absolutely have that. Where they're running into issues at is with the certificate of occupancy. That's a document that businesses should have obtained before actually opening their doors. It's a very important document. It basically says that the building is relatively safe because DPI has been there to do their inspections. The fire department has been there and to do their inspections. So the certificate of occupancy is 90% of what most of these businesses do not have. A couple have not done anything. And I
Right.
think there's one that just needs the state of Maryland license.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So they haven't done with the county. They need a UNO.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
so those 9 businesses, my question was, have they got what they needed from the county? So your answer is no. I
No.
want to clarify.
The answer is no, they have not obtained their certificate of occupancy.
Okay. Otherwise, no for lay people, UNO. All
Correct.
right. Well, you know, this this council member's position would be that you hold them accountable. And if the next thing is shutting down their business until they do it, they do it. Because especially if it's a UNO, because they shouldn't even be operating if they don't have a UNO. They can't even open up a business up without a UNO. So if they didn't, I don't know how they operating their business in the city of Glenarden without a UNO. Help me understand that. How are these people operating a business without ever having a UNO?
I wish I could make that a little more clear and make it make sense, but this is a document you're supposed to have in the beginning.
Right.
And sometimes clearly you're able to get around that and still get your state of Maryland license. Some of these businesses have their state of Maryland license, but they don't have their UNO. Some of them have their UNO, but don't have their state of Maryland. And so
Well, you and I both know, Mr. Green, that they shouldn't even operate
that is correct.
because without a UNO.
That's
So
correct.
they should be shut down immediately until they get the UNO. I mean, that's just a county law. You can't open up a business without UNO.
Correct.
And in the past, it was a problem because the county would take so long to get an inspector out there to do it. But that ain't the issue these days. So you asking this council member, I mean, you don't even supposed to have a business open for in public dwelling without a UNO.
That's correct.
So again, that just bothers me. How are they able to open up a business in this city? How did they get a business license from us first? Are these new businesses?
No, they're
Okay, then help me
existing
understand. How did they get a business license from us if they never got a UNO? Because isn't that required before you give them a business license?
Yes. These practices are no longer going on, but they were going on at one point in time where the city was issuing licenses without the proper documentation.
Is that all, Councilman Williams?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Jones.
Thank you. I am in agreement with Councilman Williams at this juncture about the businesses. If they don't have all the necessary documentation to open a business or to run a business, then they need to be shut down immediately. Because if somebody goes in there, if it's a health issue and they go in there and buy something and it affects the health and safety and health of the community, then they need to be shut down immediately, regardless of whether that's it or not. The other thing is, what are the guidelines for the state when somebody doesn't have all of their documentations, or the guidelines for the county? If they're saying, if the county and state are saying that if they don't have the correct documentation and they don't issue them the permits, then they don't allow them to open. So, and I noticed on the list that you sent that one business, I thought it was a new business, the Halal Market.
Yes, I'm sorry. That is it's not new in the sense that this is its first year. They came aboard, I think, late 24, I think maybe July of 24. I'm sorry, I don't have that information right here in front of me, but they are fairly new. Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Yeah, but I thought they opened just this past spring. I didn't know that they had been open that long. But still, if that gentleman or whoever owns that business does not want to be in compliance with the state, county, and the city laws, then they need to be shut down immediately. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Councilman Cross, did you take your hand? Did you have anything to say? I saw your hand up.
Thank you so much, sir. No, I'd put my hand down, but I will just say, Mr. Green, we do need to have a risk assessment done on this, particularly if they are not qualified to be open based on the document that you've stated. And also, when we use acronyms, remember, many of our citizens are not savvy on code enforcement things. UNO could be, the card game, right? So just be clear about how when we're doing acronyms so that the citizens know exactly what we're talking about and what the impact is. So could you please clarify the UNO that you've just had a discussion so that citizens are aware the criticality of that document? Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that, and I do apologize. So the UNO is a use and occupancy permit that is issued by Prince George's County. And it is it's important because again, it's the county's official confirmation that a building is safe, lawful, and approved for use.
Is it by chance something that DPI, because we have had a spell where DPI has been relatively thin and relatively far and behind in many of their due diligence, really, when it comes down to contractors and opening new businesses. They're at least, since 2022, there has been an issue there. Have we maybe looked at DPI to ask what their response measures would be in this regard? Because it really is falling back on them. Thank you.
Yes, I have spoken with DPI in advance as it relates to this. And what DPI does is they basically ask me for the business's information and they will take it from there.
Councilman Jones,
That's a
is
new
that
hand.
comment? All right, go ahead.
So my question now, Mr. Green, is this: what is it that you need from the council?
Thank you for the question, Councilwoman Jones. What I need is the purpose of this was to enlighten the council on what the status of the business licenses are in the city and to get guidance on whether the council was in agreement, what the next step should be, whether it should be to continue working with the businesses or whether it should be issuing a stop work order until the businesses have complied.
Like I said, my answer to that would be to go ahead and bring them in, and help them to come into compliance. Because if it was the state or anyone else, they probably would shut them down also. And we can't, at some point, working with them, we've done that. Because I noticed that some of those businesses have been on that list before. And we've worked with some of them. We've educated, we've done what we can. Now, since it seems like they don't want to be in compliance, we need to take the next step. Legally, they should not really be open because they don't have the necessary documentation to be in business. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Curtis.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Curtis. My take on this is to shut them completely down because they know what is required of them as business owners. They know what is required from the time they started a business, they took on the business, they opened up a business, they know. I take it personally as being disrespectful. Like Councilwoman Jones said, some of these people have been on this road before. They know what is required, and they also know that we have given them um, more time than we should have given them in previous incidents with this is. I don't think we need to go and do no research and all this other kind of stuff. We know, you know what you're doing, Mr. Green, and you know, the next step, whatever you, as far as I'm concerned, whatever you feel is necessary for the next step, then you need to do it because they're being disrespectful. They know what they need to do. I wouldn't put it on the county or anybody else because again, as a business owner, they know the documents and the permits that are required of them to run a business. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Councilman Williams. Councilman Williams? Oh, let's see.
Mr. Green, this is not even for you to handle. This is for you to go to the county depot and tell them you got people in our city that don't have use and occupancy permits. And they will shut them down. That's their job. And that I know what you're trying to, I know what you're trying to do is be a minimum so it won't look like the city is harassing you. Well, we can kill two birds with one stone with this. You can have the county do their job. Bring the county inspectors in and have them shut them down for not having a UNO. Because we don't know if that building is safe or not. And they operate. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Jones?
And my last thing is, now, if I was out there riding around in Glenarden and Chief Robinson stopped me and I didn't have no license, then what happens? My car gets towed and I get to walk home. And if I want to get it back, if I want to get my ticket taken care of, I'm going to have to go down to the DMV and get me a license. So if they don't have their documentation, then they need to do the same thing. Go to the state of Maryland or go to wherever they need to go and get their documentation in order to stay in business. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Green, you have what you, I'm sorry, Councilman Herring.
Yeah, I just want to know. So are we citing them the $100 fine per day or no?
Yes,
We are.
yes,
Now I see on your list you have Woodmore Town Center Security Office.
yes.
I thought their UNO was under the developers.
I've asked for it. They have not submitted anything. They are supposed to be applying for it now. I forgot the lady's name that I've been working with at the management office for Woodmore. She sent me an email yes, probably like a month ago that they are now trying to obtain the certificate of occupancies.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Green, you have everything you need from us?
Well,
Oh,
I think I have a few differing views from council members. So if there could be a consensus on the direction that I should go in, Councilwoman Cross has asked for a very specific thing as far as the risk analysis, and maybe it's the council will to do both. And other council members have said to shut it down. So it would be helpful if the council would, I guess, have a,
do a consensus.
please.
All right. I'll go to Ms. Councilman Williams first, and then we'll do a consensus.
You made a statement that you're fining them $100 a day.
Yes, sir.
Since backdated to when?
We can't backdate, but we could just do this fiscal year for the businesses that are in compliance now. You do have there are multi-year businesses that's indicated by asterisks on the notification that was sent. So yeah, so starting from July from July 1, any businesses after that get charged $100 per day. But I need the council to also know that Maryland state law right now caps that at $1,000.
Okay. So all those businesses are at least $1,000.
Correct.
And some of those business multiple years should be 2,000.
Except for, again, the law, and I've checked with the attorney on this. I did legal sufficiency. We cannot go backwards.
So you didn't find them the previous year.
Well, it wasn't done on a day-to-day basis. So because it wasn't done on a day-to-day basis and it's in the past, we cannot go back and do it. So that was part of
All
what
right, you
the
answered my
review opinion
question.
was
You're
about.
good. You're good. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right.
Mayor, let me ask a question,
Yes,
because
sir.
I guess my question is, why are we doing the consensus when the code clearly says what needs to be done if they're not in compliance with business licenses? And that's fined $100 per day, and it also says in 103-7, failure to pay the applicable business license fee and/or fine shall result in the issuance of a stop work order requiring that business to stop operations immediately, cease operations immediately. So we really don't have to take a consensus because the code is what it says. I mean, we just need to adhere to the code.
I would agree, Councilman Herring. Follow what we already have in place.
Thank you. Thank you. Understood.
Yeah, because you're not asking to go out of operational procedures or what we have on the books. So you just got to stick with the plan, stick with what we have. Councilwoman Cross, and then I'll come back to you, Councilman Harry. Councilman Williams.
Thank you so much. I still want that risk assessment. As I don't have your list of 9, but there's one very important one that I've just heard in this meeting tonight. And you're talking about security office for Woodmore, at which case then you're talking about, the flagship, revenue generator in Prince George's County. So, I mean, we just need a real assessment. So we understand what the complications will be. That risk analysis will not only identify those businesses, and also if they're a perpetual violator, then it also will bring that to light as well, so that we can be more proactive in our accountability versus waiting until and then having to do actions. But you still need to reach out to DPI as well, because they should have not even issued those licenses. And I know a lot was done with the attorney that is affiliated with the Whitmore Town Center particularly. And then the other ones, again, we really need to understand what our risks are economically, because that is, even if they haven't, they are a generator of some type of service. So we just need to know what those risks are. And that doesn't need a consensus. That's just on you, Mr. Green, to make us informed. Thank you.
Councilman Williams.
I just want to make a point to Mr. Green that you should never have to come to us about doing your job. If the code says do X, Y, and Z, then you should do your job and only come to us if you want to deviate from the code. If you want to say, hey, the code say this, but we want to give them a special exception because of X, Y, and Z, then that's when you would come to us as a policy-making body. But you should never have to come to us about doing your job, especially when your job is black and white, is in the code. this is the next step you do. You can give us a courtesy, I'm doing this, this, and this, but not to be asking us permission to do your job. That's your job. And we should never want to inhibit you from doing your job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Next topic is snow emergency response. Unfortunately, Mr. Wood is under the weather and actually can't even speak at the moment. But Mr. Nichols, if you have an update that you want to provide for the council, I don't want to put you on the spot. But if you could just give us maybe a high level of, are there any places in the city that we still need to get to? If we haven't gotten to them, what's the expectation? I know that Mr. Wood did write us an email as it relates to actually snow removal, or at this point, it's not snow anymore, it's ice removal, so that because the mounds of ice are starting to cause safety issues. So I guess two things. One, are the areas that we still need to get to, still need to salt or plow? And two, I'll open the floor for council to talk about whether we want to move forward with the proposal that was provided as it relates to snow removal by getting um, those cats and dump trucks to remove the snow or replace the snow, I should say, relocate, I should say, the snow. So, Mr. Nichols.
Yes, I'm not prepared to speak to what Mr. Wood was going to present tonight. However, from a high level, all streets throughout the city are passable and safe.
Okay.
Yes. Now, what we're still dealing with, as you already alluded to, is ice, which we have been treating on a daily basis with salt, with hopes, which has actually been successful over time. Is that during the day when we have ample daylight, that heavy treatment of salt will then allow it to turn into slush or something that can be plowed. And so whenever we get those opportunities throughout the day, we're continuing to plow and clear the streets, perfectly down to the bare bone pavement.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, I know Mr. Wood isn't here, but I know you and your team were working around the clock over the weekend, not this weekend, but, well, the past weekend when a storm hit. And some of your team members didn't get to see their families until that Monday. So they weren't at home with their family in a snowstorm. They were staying in the city to make sure that our families will be able to be plowed out, can get up, move around. And I just want to thank you and the team for all the work that you've done for your response time. And I personally witnessed some very unkind and rude citizens either cussing public works out or just yelling at them when they're out there trying to plow. And they, stood tall and did their job anyway. And just want to just say thank you to you and your entire team. So appreciate all the hard work. I know it was tiring working those long hours, but definitely appreciate all the work that you and your team did for the city during this snow emergency and then all the work that you're continuing to do. So thank you. Sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather as well. Councilwoman Jones.
Thank you, Mayor Curtis. And I also want to say thank you to the Director of Public Works, Mr. Nichols, and his team. I appreciated how you all strategized, prepared, and executed what you needed to have done. Because some of the places that I saw on social media, different places in the county, different places all over, they were just really struggling. And there was one social media post that I happened to see, because I'm not on social media that often anymore, but I would happen to see this one in some of my downtime. And the gentleman asked, he lived in Fort Washington, and he asked, he says, I wonder what, because Fort Washington, the people were complaining because the streets hadn't been done. And this gentleman asked, he says, I wonder what Palmer Park and Glenarden look like. And so nobody talks about Glenarden, not in my presence. So I answered him and I said, sir, Glenarden is a municipality. We have a very fine public works director and team that have strategized, prepared, and executed. And then I proceeded to show him a picture of my street. I'm down to the asphalt. So don't ask about what Glenarden, whatever your concerns about Glenarden, we certainly are there to answer. And 301-773-2100, you can reach out to our city manager if you have an issue. So, but anyway, the other thing that I wanted to address is today I finally got my mailbox dug out. So I'm done shoveling. I ain't shoveling not another thing. But I got my mailbox dug out so the mailman can get there and not get hurt or anything happen to him. And that still was ice on the top and snow. But the one thing that I did notice, once I got through with my mailbox, I had to run to the Giant. When I came back into 704 and Glenarden Parkway. And when I made that left-hand turn coming towards Glenarden, coming to get on Glenarden Parkway, that section of Glenarden Parkway has one lane. So the person that was coming towards 704, like going to the school, to Glenarden Woods Elementary, he was in the lane, and then I'm trying to turn into the other lane, but there's no other lane. I mean, it's so tight that I almost hit him. So that snow or whatever, that mound that's there, whatever the hindrance is there, that needs to be removed because that is definitely a safety hazard. And I wasn't going fast. I was just coming and I looked up and this car was coming. It was right there. So you all need to look at that and see how you can address that. Thank you, Mayor Curtis.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cross.
On the Glenarden Parkway as well, leading up to those speed humps, if we could look at widening that. I know that there are several cars that are still plowed in with snow. I don't know what the rules are relative to even sidewalks on Glenarden Parkway. A lot of the residents hadn't even dug out their sidewalks yet. So we've got a lot of safety hazard, and I believe that is a city strip right there going into the Whitmore Town Center into the Wegmans area. So if we can put some more attention, particularly when it curves into the roundabout, it is very tight there, and bigger trucks, wider trucks, and regular SUVs have a hard time passing each other, just a note.
All right. Any other comments on this topic? I know Mr. Wood isn't here, so it's not much for us to discuss. All right. Any final comments from council members before we adjourn?
Are we going to take a consensus on getting the Bobcats and the dump truck so that they can continue on? Because there's a lot of snow even in the parking lot at the municipal center that needs to be moved out of the way. They had an event there Saturday that I noticed coming home that the people, they needed something. They were parking up there, but everybody was just parked willy-nilly.
That's right. This will be. What does this enter into another agreement, or will be this is approval since it's over $6,000? We don't need another agreement. We have an agreement with our contractor. They just need approval to spend the additional fund. I saw the proposal. I did have some questions as to whether it was in the budget. do we need to reallocate funds to get this done? I'm in agreement with it. Just don't necessarily know our role in this. Is it to reappropriate funds or to approve an expenditure over $6,000? And unfortunately, Mr. Wood isn't here.
I was thinking that they were going to use the line item that they've already, that's already been budgeted. They were going to use the money out of that line item because they said there was money left over. From how it was explained in the email.
Okay, Mr. Nichols.
Yeah, so it's a pre-existing contract
Yep.
that has already been established, and there is remaining contract funds that can be utilized. Um, Now, as far as the reallocation of funds, I think that that is something that would need to be discussed a little bit further, just based on how that funding is identified once it is utilized. Because I believe that the existing contract was more so for roadway improvements. So that just that tidbit, but there are in fact remaining funds within the contract, and there is enough to get this accomplished.
Okay. Uh, Councilwoman Cross.
All right, expanding topics. Prince George's County Public Schools will remain closed on Tuesday, February the 3rd. It's a code blue. Y'all, we did have a meeting with Prince George's County Municipal Association and the county exec on this issue of the
Well, so 1 second. Is it related to this is it relating to
No, this is
the
a new
snow
topic.
removal?
Well, it
Okay, well,
is. It's talking about the Prince George's County schools because.
understand. Hold on, Councilwoman Cross. Let's finish with this one first.
Okay, cool.
Let's finish with this one first. So we don't get confused on what it is we're talking about. So, Councilman Jones, you said you wanted a consensus to go ahead with the plan.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're taking consensus to move forward with the plan outlined in the email by City Manager Wood to relocate snow, to remove these snow mounds off the street for safety issues and relocate them to property owned by the city that has proper drainage to be able to store the ice and it can drain off appropriately. Any questions on this consensus
Yes.
before we go? Yes.
Is
Mayor
this a
Pro
rent?
Tem.
Is this the purchase or to rent? I saw a figure of, I think it was 14,000 or something. So is
Yep.
this a rental to spend 14,000 to rent?
Yep. It'll be for the cat like
How much does a Bobcat cost?
um oh, I'll have to pull that email back up. I think it was an email.
The Bobcat, no, she's asking how much an actual Bobcat. A Bobcat costs about 80,000. That's what they asked for in the budget last year when they wanted one. But this is just to rent the Bobcat and rent the dump truck and to pay the both of the personnel that'll be driving the truck and the Bobcat.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sorry. Councilman Cross, is it on this topic?
Yep. So the snow mounds, I don't know that I agree with moving snow mounds, noting that we still have areas in the city that has to get the snow creeked, as he called it, removed for safety. So before we toss out $14,000 in moving snow that's already out the way, I'd rather see more of the ice broken away from the streets and the highways so that they're passable, safety first. That would be my requirement. Now with hearing a little bit more clarity behind it. I don't have a problem with the rental, but I think I have a problem with the utilization to move snow that's not impacting anybody.
It is impacting. That was also explained. That is an obstruction and is a safety hazard And even if we start to plow more street, that snow will increase that safety hazard. So it's to move the snow. So um, it's not that we can't get to eventually plowing more of the street. We still need to move the ice somewhere. And the issue is that it will start to melt during the day, but we have sub freezing temperatures at night. It just refreezes at night, so we don't get much drainage. Um, and with people now using the roads to walk, it's not only unsafe for pedestrians, it's unsafe for cars as well. But it's all laid out in the email. But any other questions, Councilman Herring? I see your
Yeah, like I said, I have no problem with getting it, but the way we're doing it, we can't do because they're going to take it out of capital improvements, which is slated in its budget has it for street paving and milling, and put it into public works, which is where snow removal is. So you're moving it across departments, which calls for a budget amendment. So we'd have to amend the budget. Because we now
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, now do we want to bring that as an emergency ordinance to amend it on Tuesday at a public work session? At the public hearing, we could do that. But we can't go across department lines without amending the budget. We're basically amending the budget. Because right now, again, I'm looking at the budget right now, and it says the 900,000 that's appropriated that they want to pull from is for street paving and milling. And I was hoping that it was under public works, but it's not. It's under capital improvements, and snow plowing is under public works. So that's between two budgets. Two departments.
Okay, and
So
that's
we
what I
can't
was
do a
asking.
consensus to do that.
Sorry, that's what I was asking earlier. Is that in the same department?
No, separate.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Are you done, Councilman Herring?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Councilman Williams? Councilman Williams, you're muted.
Is the snow removal budget depleted thus far?
Mr. Stewart, are you on the line? Mr. Stewart?
Hello, good evening. I'm here. The snow removal budget, we had budgeted $40,000, and based on where I think we are around $28,000 right now.
Okay, so they can go ahead and use. I would say they can go use that $14,000 right now, and then we can worry about transferring money from the street at a later time. Because they still have enough money in their snow removal budget according to the treasurer for snow removal. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. And Mr. Stewart, is that just all you have on the books thus far? Is that inclusive of all the open invoices, or that's just what you booked thus far?
That is what I have booked so far. So let's take, for example, the contractors for last week. I haven't seen that number yet.
So it's possible that.
So it's possible it may go over the 40,000.
Oh, well, they shouldn't go over the 40,000. That's all we have budgeted. But it's possible that it's more than 28,000.
Yes, it is possible. And what I would recommend, as Mr. Herring was saying, is I think that we should do an emergency amendment to the budget. I've actually started to do the allocations, but given this matter that we're dealing with, I would recommend a budget amendment to deal with this issue.
In the meantime, can you reach out to them to see if we have any open invoices? If they're, if we're built up to, the last working hour so that we'll know what we have left on that contract.
Okay, so I'll work with that and get back to you all by Thursday, if that's reasonable.
Yeah, that's fine. We can ask them tomorrow though. Just a phone
Yes.
call away.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
Mayor. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So why don't we just do as Councilman Williams said? Why don't we know we're gonna have to move money anyway, but we
Yep.
want to get a slow move now. So since we know we got $28,000 sitting in snow removal, we can do a resolution to approve $14,000 for the Bobcat and backhoe and personnel, while at the same time doing a budget amendment to move money to that line item because we know we're going to need it anyway, and we may have another snowstorm. We don't know. So that'll give us the time to go ahead and get the budget ordinance done without having to rush it through. And right now, since the money's already in the budget, we can give a consensus, but we're still going to need a resolution because it's over $6,000.
That's what I was gonna say. Right.
Yeah. So I don't even think, do we need a consensus?
You need a resolution because again, it's over. It's a separate contract, but you won't need a
Yeah, no,
consensus.
yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I'm saying, but with the consensus part, I don't think we need that, do we?
Well, you'll still need it because we haven't got we technically we got to go through the whole public hearing, then regular meeting to vote on the resolution to approve the 14,000.
Yeah, and we can bring that at the public hearing. So we're going to
But by that time, the snow might melt by then. But I mean, or do we want to get it now, or do we want to get it later? The snow.
Councilman Williams, were you talking about doing it now, or you were thinking about just?
I'm talking about doing it now.
All right. Well,
Snow is not going to melt. It's still under freezing. It's going to be this way for another week. 1 or 2 days. It's going to be snow. The ice ain't going anywhere. But
you'll move. Sorry, you're muted.
Can I ask the treasurer a question still?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The treasurer, I asked at the last city council meeting, and you get back to Mr. Wood because I emailed me and he ignored me. So I'm putting him on blast. So next time I send him an email, I'm not going to just send him individual. I'm going to send it to the whole council seat that he has ignored me. At the last council meeting, I asked the question, how much did we bill 8737 for all the public works? He said he would get it to me by the end of the week, Friday before the snow. That didn't happen. And then I emailed him last week. He still didn't give it to me. So I'm asking you, Mr. Treasurer, did you or have you built 8737 Glenarden Parkway for the work Public Works did? And if you haven't, why not? And if you have, how much? Or what will you plan on doing?
So hold on, Mr. Green, hold on, Mr. Stewart. As you're thinking about that, I want you to be able to answer his question, but just hold on, because I want to do the consensus first while we're on the topic, and then move on to other things. All right, Councilman Williams. So, Mr. Stewart, you've heard the question. Write them down. Think about it. Be prepared to answer it because we're going to loop back to it. But let's knock out first the consensus to start work with the proposal that Mr. Wood submitted. So the consensus is yes to start on it while we prepare the paperwork, no to not. All right. With that, we'll go to.
Sorry.
All right. All right. Yes or no, Councilwoman Cross?
I had my hand up before Councilman Williams started talking on this topic. Before we take this consensus, I did go back through this email. It doesn't identify where the work would be happening. It just highlights the problem that we have. For me, we do not have enough information to spend $14,000 on. I don't even know what zones he's going to address, where the mounds of snow are. None of that's in this email. So I really don't, for me, and just before we take a consensus, this email and $14,000 doesn't tell me if we're gonna be just moving old snow or if we're trying to get more snow off the ground. So I need some clarity for that. But I just want to put that down for record. I went through his email. It does not have any locations identified. All right, thank you.
Is that a yes or take it as a no?
That's a no.
Okay. Councilman Hairston,
Yes.
Councilman Herring,
Yes, as long as we're taking that out of the public works budget, and we'll have paperwork for a resolution to spend the $14,000 and a budget ordinance to move money from capital to public works snow line.
yes.
So yes,
Yep.
with all of that. Yeah.
It
Okay.
has to be coming out of public works. This isn't a yes across departmental lines. Just for clarity, as Councilman Herring stated. Councilman Jones.
In the email in the response to the email that Mr. Wood sent, Councilman Herring identified some of the locations that need to be addressed. If you ride around the city, you will see most of the locations that have this issue. So I'm a yes.
Yeah. Councilman Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ferguson.
Yes.
And I am a yes. So we can start work with the existing budget in the Public Works Department, and where the areas that were outlined. So we can start fresh. Mr. Stewart, could you please answer Mr. Councilman Williams' questions, please?
Point of order, Mayor Curtis.
Yes.
I think it would be more logical for Mr. Green to answer the question first so that the council that doesn't understand what happened in the process of getting 8737 even to where it is today, that they'll understand that the process in the payment issue. I think we first have to go back to court. So let Mr. Green give that information, and then we can ask the treasurer where he is with that.
I understand what you're saying, but it wasn't my question. It was Councilman Williams. So if he feels comfortable with moving his question to Mr. Green, that's on him. But that's not a decision for me to make because it was Councilman Williams' question. Councilman
Thank you,
Williams.
sir.
I don't care who answered the question. I just want to answer it because I was due an answer the Friday before the storm, and it didn't happen. So it's now a week later and 3 days, 10 days later, and I still don't have an answer. So thank you.
All right. Mr. Green, if you want to.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm sorry, good evening again, everyone. To be specific as it relates to 8737 and the billing and the payment, when we last went to court, the circuit court or district court judge required the city to accumulate all of the expenses for the abatement related to 8737, bring it back to court, and the judge would determine how much the property owner will be required to pay the city of Glenarden.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Councilman Williams.
That was my question. What was the fee that the city is going to charge 8737 for the work Public Works did? Because I said that for a reason. The reason I want to know this is because if and when we go back to court and it put on her tax bill, I want those individuals who worked on 8737 to get compensated extra for doing that work. That's why I'm asking the question. But again, I do not have an answer to that number of how much the city is charging 8737. Do you have that, Mr. Treasurer?
Um, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Councilman Williams, I do not have that figure. I was not given the information as yet.
Okay. You remember in the meeting, I was told I was going to have it by the end of the week when we had our council meeting. Do you remember that?
I think so.
You think
But
you-
I
okay.
but I was not given the information, and I
So-
will work on it.
Mr. Mayor, can I get a consensus from the council? 'Cause I hate to do this since they don't want to answer me. That we need to know how much we're going to be billing this lady or man or whoever at 8737. So can I get this information tomorrow?
Mr. Stewart, can you gather this information tomorrow? It's
I
not.
w-
Yeah, go ahead.
I will work with Mr. Nichols and Mr. Wood to see if we could put some information together, and then we'll work it out. Maybe if I get it to you by Thursday, would that be reasonable?
No, tomorrow's reasonable
No,
because you're already
no,
10 days,
Wednesday.
you're
Wednesday.
already 10 days late.
Can I
Mr.
get
Stewart,
it to you by Wednesday?
Mr. Stewart, can I just help you out here? We didn't use a contractor. We use our own equipment and we use man hours that are in ADP. All we have to do, it takes literally maybe 30 minutes to just go and pull the hours, put the hourly rate, figure out what it cost us to remediate that area, the officer that stood on duty, to provide security, everything that was involved in us providing doing that work on that. All it'll take is for you coordinating with Mr. Nichols, who worked on it, how many hours. Mr. Chief Robson, who was on security, how many hours. Times the hourly rate, that is what we're owed.
Okay.
It doesn't take, it won't take long. And I think that's what's getting missed here. It's not a huge
No, it's
science.
not rocket science.
Yeah. It's fairly easy.
Okay. So I'll work with Mr. Nichols tomorrow to get it through.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just keeping it in line with the can-do attitude, because it really is. I could pull
Thank you.
that.
Here we go. It's crazy.
I could pull that in 15 minutes, easy. So, yes. So by 5 p.m. tomorrow, you should have something. And don't just email Councilman Williams, because we don't want the email to get lost. Email the entire council so that
Thank you.
everybody's on it, so we can see the response. So nobody can say, "Well, email Councilman Williams, it must didn't go through." Nope, email the council.
Will do.
All right. Councilman Jones, is it the same topic?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So for a point of clarification, because I want to make sure that I'm right, Councilman Williams is asking for just the amount that we spent with the Public Works Department, because we all know that we're not finished yet, correct?
No. Just like the mayor said, I want to know what should be built. The police officers' time for providing security, any special tools that we had to buy, the man hours that they work.
No, what I'm saying, Councilman Williams, you're asking just for the work that we did with Public Works, the job that we just did with Public Works, because we're still not finished with that property.
Right.
Right.
I said up to date. Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Curtis.
Okay. And Councilman Cross, is it on this topic or no?
Hey, so I have a question about this, and I did hear Mr. Green's comment briefly, a cry in the darkness for us to go back to the district court on this one to assess any fees. We definitely want to not end up in any court systems, particularly because our guys get paid an hourly rate, whether they do this or that. And it was a consensus of this council that we would utilize their time that day spent on supporting us in getting this home clean, because we had a court order which afforded us the opportunity to do that. Now we want to go and find that resident. I am in a disagreement with finding that resident on behalf of the city of Glenarden without going back to the district court for due process appropriately, getting us a judicial opinion based on the works that we had to do, because no contractor would take this job on. So I believe that just so that we keep our hands clean in this, we take it back, as Mr. Green has already given us the indication, to the district court with the figure that Councilman Williams wants. Take that figure in to say, as a result of no contractor willingness to take this job on, the city of Glenarden did its due diligence to support the safety of the citizens and the curb appeal of the city in general, and took this action. Here is the cost, manpowers and labor and any equipment that we had to buy. Would the court do us an honor of supporting us receiving these funds back in this particular manner? I think that's a more appropriate way than the city leveraging a bill, because we had a district court order which gave us jurisdiction to do the action. Thank you.
All right, and before we adjourn, Councilman Cross, I know you was talking about school closing. Last comment to you before we adjourn.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, Prince George's County Public Schools will remain closed on Tuesday, February the 3rd under a code blue. Just letting the citizens know that the students and the educators are not going to be in offices. The administrative offices will be open, however. Thank you again. And we did speak to the county executive about this on this evening with the Prince George's County Municipal Association. They do acknowledge that there has been a severe pain with this particular storm that, unlike others in the past, and note that with the schools particularly closing, one thing to be concerned about is the extended school time frame, and also loss of holidays for our students. So again, corporate policies are in place, but mental health and wellness alerts are as well to be acknowledged. Thank you.
Yeah, I just think we need to be more prepared. I mean, we all know ICE is coming, so we should prepare for our students, but that's another day. All right, well, with that, time is 8:15. If there's no other comments to council, this meeting is now adjourned. Everybody stay warm, stay safe.
Hey, have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.